Am I audible? Yes, I am. We are really happy that this is the second day of the session. We are having with us the team from IIT Kharagpur, which will be actually conducting the planned IIT Kharagpur OCN Outreach Course Network program for Sister Nivedita University. Yesterday we had discussions on the courses pertaining to computer science, and to some extent there were students from health science as well. Today we are focusing on the disciplines of management, business, economics and commerce. How many of the students are from commerce? Will you please raise your hand? Oh. How many from management? Okay. Economics? Okay. Few. All right. So everybody is there. So the basic objective, they will explain it in detail, but in brief and in a nutshell, let me introduce you to the program. This program is, as the name implies, Outreach Course Network. That means the courses will be taught by IIT Kharagpur faculty. And that will be reaching you online at some specific points of time, just as classes are held. Okay? Now, this is a micro-specialization course. As you know, that in our new curriculum, which is tuned to NEP, we have got a major. All of you are doing, say, economics major or commerce major. Along with that, you can have some minors, right? If you choose. If you choose, you can have some minors. In addition to that, if you choose, you can also have a micro-specialization. Why is it micro? Because, say, in the entire course, major, there will be around 80 credits from that major subject. Now, minor will be around 20 to 26 credits. Micro-specialization is much smaller, 12 credits, approximately. So, 4 courses. Consider 4 3-credit courses, all right? So that makes 12 credits. So there will be multiple threads which they will explain. For example, entrepreneurship in the era of AI is one thread in which there will be 4 courses. Similarly, maybe, I don't remember, financial management. If it be a thread of micro-specialization, there will be 4 courses over there. So you can choose one or more than one. To start with, I'll prefer that you choose one micro-specialization thread and complete those 4 courses. Those 4 courses are distributed over 4 semesters. You can, along with your other major courses or minor courses, you can do these 4 courses also. We are trying to align them. Your teachers will be aligning them with the different subjects that you have got in your major course. All right? In major, there are some electives, isn't it? So along with those electives, you can choose one of these courses. So what is the advantage? The advantage is, at the end of the day, you are not only satisfying your degree requirement, but along with that, you will also complete the requirement of a micro-specialization that has been offered by IIT Kharagpur through their OCN program. So you will get your MBA or BBA certificate at the end of 4 years. And as you complete these 4 courses in a particular thread, you will also get a micro-specialization certificate they will show you the look and feel of the certificate as well, that it will have a logo of IIT Kharagpur and everything, which will be another earning on your part, and you can take it to use it for your job and everything. All right? So, at least from my academic experience of 40 plus years, I sincerely believe that this will stand you in very good stead. This will really help you, okay, for your career in two ways. One is, of course, the brand of IIT Kharagpur will be useful, and also in the other side, the teaching, the way the things are taught by IIT Kharagpur faculty, you will also get access to that. Okay? And this will be completely online. It is planned that it will be in the afternoon after your classes are complete. All right? You can have it, do it at SNU itself in the computer lab, or if you have laptops. I don't prefer phone, but you can do it over phone also. So that's the basic rudimentary of the whole thing. Now I leave it to the IIT Kharagpur team. The team we have the team of yesterday is still there. Ritesh, Abrojit, who are both ex-IITians, and they have formed a company called Proofslate, which is driving this. And along with that, I have got my ex-colleague, Dr. Manoj Mandal from IIT Kharagpur, who is in the department right now. He is the Associate Dean of Entrepreneurship and Innovation at IIT Kharagpur. He will also be talking, right? So with that, and one thing before I step down, one thing is, okay, you are chatting, that's fine. You please participate in that, and without any psychological hindrance, ask as many questions as you like to them. All the questions will be answered. Okay? So don't feel hesitant. Okay? So with that, I leave it to Abrojit. You will take over?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Okay.
Hello, check. Okay, a very good evening to all of you, and thank you so much, sir, for the introduction. And we have been coming to SNU, I guess yesterday was our first day, and this is the second day, and it's usually very heartwarming to see all these bright kids. Even like we were sitting there around 5 years back, and today we're on the other side. So thank you everyone for making time and making it to this program, and we'll make sure that we make good use of your time. So before we start, everyone has heard of IIT Kharagpur, right? Indian Institute of Technology. Now, when we are talking about business, economics, and finance, how many of you think that it is relevant to IIT Kharagpur, or this kind of courses do happen at IIT Kharagpur? Can we have a show of hands? Okay, so it's around 5% of the audience who thinks so. So yeah, so that's why I guess my CEO has left this event to me. I have studied economics in IIT Kharagpur. So I cleared JEE Mains and JEE Advanced, and I was also born and brought up in Calcutta from Calcutta Boys School. And after that, I decided to pursue economics at IIT Kharagpur. To my surprise, only IIT Kanpur and IIT Kharagpur back then in 2016 was offering this program. And today, as we speak, IIT Bombay also does the same. So the myth that IIT is not for economics, business, and finance is not true, right? So now today our discussion will be how people from different branches, as we kind of got to know that you folks are from commerce, economics, management, and what we'll do is, before we start the event, we would want to know how our audience composition is. So we have put together a Mentimeter quiz. So it's not basically a quiz. So we are taking, like, you'll have to maybe, yeah, scan this QR code and select one of this option. Please take out your phones, scan the code. Yeah, yeah, that's okay. It can be 0%, but we want to understand how does the composition look like of our audience. Okay.
If you aren't able to
Okay.
Zoom, you can use the code as well.
So fairly, as per my understanding, around 80% of you are in your second year, and the rest from third year. And now coming to which stream are you from? Management, commerce, economics, engineering, sciences? Please go ahead. We say economics, 100%. The others are also responding. Yeah. So 80% of you are from management and commerce, around 13% from economics, 2% from sciences, and 4% from others. I'm very interested to know who are these others. Any one of you who have selected others would like to stand up and say, which department are you from? Someone might have selected others. So not one, more than one. Come on, like this has to be an interactive session. Like, we are not capable of giving monologues at a stand. So any others, anyone would like to volunteer? Okay, no? Cool. So now what we are trying to know is, what is that one word which comes to your mind when we think about placements? For me, it was uncertainty. How about you folks? So this is going to be like a word cloud. So you have to put in your responses in your Mentimeter quiz, and we'll show you how your responses look like. Okay, great. Relevant. Fake. Yeah, true. Like that stays for 2 years, 2 to 3 years. You know, your first job stays with you, makes you immense pride. Not good enough. Okay. Okay, so we have someone thinks that it's a scam. Fearful and uncertainty, yeah. Pointless. Who thinks it is pointless? Yeah, like you have some guts. I would say what our director says today is we're looking for more number of job creators rather than job seekers. So yeah, it's good to see, like, you know, people are not being too much dependent on placements. Someone says that it's a headache. Someone says it's gadha majdoori. Okay. Someone thinks it's a nightmare. Some of you think that it's an AI company. So maybe yesterday's session were more relevant. Yeah, good company and placements goes hand in hand. Someone talks about LPA, AI layoff. We are heading towards the right direction. So with that, we come to the next question, which might be a bit scary, but you know, as per, like, everyone has been on social media or print media, and we all know how the recent companies have changed their behavior while hiring, right? And how do you think that at companies that have adopted Gen AI, how much fresher hiring has fallen since 2023? Now, this is a very personal question for all of you because you are going to face the burn of it. So let's see. And I'm also going to reveal the truth in some time, but would want to know how you folks are thinking. 20%, 40%, 60%, 80%. AI, due to Gen AI, how much has fresher hiring fallen since 2023? I think I've not leaked the answer. Okay. It will refresh. Wow. Okay. I personally really admire this 4% who thinks it is 20%. I really admire you. This much of self-confidence is required to kind of say, I don't care about what the world is speaking. I don't care about what, say, McKinsey has to say about hiring trends, but for me, it doesn't matter. Yeah. 80%, only 13 is an unlucky number, but okay, now it's 12. 60% and 40%, most of you, but let's confront the reality. So 80%, the number has declined by 80%, and this is not a made-up number, or this is not kind of especially put together over here to scare you folks off, but yeah, this is what the reality is. So per quarter since 2023, at firms that have adopted Gen AI, 80% hiring of freshers have declined. And this is being cited from a Harvard working paper of 2026 with 66 million workers, 280,000 plus US firms. Stanford Digital Economy Lab 2025 says that there has been a decline of 16% employment for ages in the segment of 22 to 25 years old in AI exposed jobs. Seniors were untouched. Yeah, like experience now is playing a very vital role. So experience with AI is kind of like, replacing a team of 5 people. As of now. So there has been again 55K US job cuts in 2025 attributed directly to AI by the employers themselves. Now, what are we going to do about it? Like everyone is saying that we have financial press saying junior banking tasks, financial modeling, pitch book building, now automated by AI. And I'm sure like most of you who are from the commerce background usually know like how reconciliations or, entry of accounting or maintaining accounting books was like a heavily dependent jobs on financial analysts is now mostly outsourced to AI models like Claude and Gemini are being able to do it within seconds. So what will you folks do, right? So that is something which we are going to answer in today's session. We have Professor Mondal with us, who is also going to talk about how this generation of students, the Gen Zs, what challenges they're facing and what is out there for them to kind of go grab it and make themselves more, I would say, relevant to today's industry. Okay. So to give you a fair understanding of how any org structure used to look like before the AI era, like from 2020 to December, I guess, ChatGPT was launched. Until then, like they were the fastest AI, or Gen AI rather, was the fastest tech adopted in say the last 5 or 6 decades, right? So previously, any org structure would look like there are 5 managers and say someone like a TCS, Wipro, or like an Infosys would come and hire at least 30, we would say like mass hiring, right, etc., etc. So they would hire those 30 analysts and place under this 5 managers, there was a concept of bench. So few people were parked in the benches, few people were actually deployed on like teams which were which had a client and they were working on some solution. But after AI, after Gen AI adoption, now the pyramid shape has been transformed into a diamond shape, where there are two senior managers and there are few specialists. And when we talked about senior employees were untouched, this is what we are trying to refer to. Few specialists who knows their domain really well, they would be making the models, they would be doing the vibe coding, they would be giving the prompts, and for them there are dedicated specialist AI agents which kind of takes over the 30 analysts who were being hired from colleges as freshers. So this is the reality, and everyone is kind of accepting it, and thus we also see a good change in the shift of behavior, where we say like there are more job creators and there are going to be more job creators in the coming days, rather than job seekers who we were mostly in our generation. And this is what is the hard truth is. There are fewer seats but more of you, and you're not just competing with AI agents, you're competing with the person sitting right next to you. So like with no intention of inciting violence in this auditorium, but everyone who is sitting, across you, adjacent to you, beside you are your competitors, right? So how do you differentiate yourself from the others and make yourself more relevant for any recruiter who is looking for hiring? So again, there are hundreds of applications before a single offer. We all know how, even on LinkedIn, how the trends of hiring has been. Like if there is a hiring post, there are thousands of people who are commenting, resharing, and every one of us think that maybe we are not good enough for this job and we'll apply for the next one, right? So, and this is the truth, where the person who is reviewing your CV spends hardly 5 to 6 seconds or just a glance to go through a profile which you have built over, say, 18 to 19 years of your life, right? So, and this is the truth. So how do you make the most out of those 6 seconds, right? What is that differentiator in your CV? What is that strong signal in your CV which is going to kind of create something in the recruiter's mind which will kind of make him or her put your CV aside and say, okay, let's talk to this boy or let's talk to this girl, right? So what is that thing which you're planning to put in your CV? Anyone, like I have been talking a lot, so maybe Fanendra, Aditya, if you can go around in the auditorium, and anyone, if you're like, if you can just raise your hand and say, what is that one thing which you are putting on your CV, definitely putting on your CV, which you believe will differentiate your CV from the others? Any one of you? Yeah, on the front row, on the right, blue t-shirt.
A clear proof of work.
Okay, any such work which you have done before with any company or any relevant project?
Like, for example, you want to increase the sale of influencer who is making videos about something. So you can build them an automated agent that will help them connect with users' messages and respond to them automatically. That will reduce their valuable time that they can spend on building content more.
Great. I would say it's a great example, and projects like real life projects like this, which he very well explained, can be a differentiator. Anything else? Anyone else wants to give a try?
A better hope of communication skills, because though AI is rising, people are more interested in human touch while talking to each other. So I think a better communication skill in my CV would be a great differentiator. It's just like if I am open to socializing, public speaking, for example, open mics, or somehow addressing a lot of people without any fear, like you are doing here.
Right. right?
That's the thing. I would like a differentiator. in my
Great,
CV.
great. So we say like thinkers are going to be paid more than people who are actually behind the desk.
Exactly.
Great point. Anyone else? Yeah, ma'am.
Sir, I think some specific skills or professional courses, like I'm a student of commerce background, so I think any professional course or any computer course related to jobs will actually can actually add up to the CV. So when these jobs, for example CS or CA, if these adds up to the CV, or any computer course like Tally, Excel, if these adds up to the CV, then maybe the recruiters will be interested.
Yeah, makes sense. Thank you, ma'am, for being a feeder as well. So today we are going to talk about courses and uh, courses which helps you provide a vertical in-depth knowledge is something which we are going to specifically talk about, and how IIT Kharagpur has taken a lead, being always, the trendsetter, established in 1951, the first IIT of our country, the mother of all IITs, have been the first in setting up, unique departments like a School of Medical Science and Technology, unique departments like we have a School of Law on our campus, we have a full-fledged management school on campus, and in most of the cases, KGP or IIT Kharagpur has been the first one to take a lead and do this. And similarly, we had micro-specializations, which we are going to talk about, right, which can be on your CVs, which is something which today is not only kept within the walls of IIT Kharagpur, but IIT Kharagpur is choosing its partners very wisely, and students of this partner institutions, for example, Sister Nivedita University is an onboarded partner of outreach course network of IIT Kharagpur, and you being students of Sister Nivedita University are having this opportunity to directly enroll on these courses with some fair amount of screening tests and eligibility criteria which IIT Kharagpur has laid out. And that will help you, like first acquire that skill and make that skill so relevant to you that you can write on your resume how a series of course completed from IIT Kharagpur and being taught by directly IIT professors have helped you to build your niche and your skill set, and how that skill set can be relevant for the job which you're applying for, to ensure that at least you get shortlisted, right? And that is what we are talking about today. A differentiator on your CV, a very strong signal on your CV, which kind of almost convince the recruiter that this is the guy or this is the girl who I definitely would want to talk to. And something which is priceless is a network, right? And we'd all talk about the IIT alumni community. And today, when I was walking inside SNU, I was very glad to see a portrait of Sundar Pichai right there in your lobby. And Sundar Pichai was an alumnus of IIT KGP, and like we were so glad to see that like students of our generation are getting aspired and inspired by people who have already done it before. Right? So a network is something like-minded people like you, not only from India, but IIT Kharagpur OCN is something which is open for the global audience. So as and when this program matures, like over a couple of years, all of you who today enrolls to be like a student of IIT Kharagpur outreach course network, after successfully completing your program, goes on to become a successful alumnus, and that is a status which you will maintain throughout your life. So again, we are talking about become the specialist, which they cannot ignore, and they cannot ignore if they see a credential on your CV, which is approved by AICT, which is approved by IIT Council, and which is aligned with the academic bank of credits, which further enables you to directly get credits from IIT KGP to your own academic bank of credits. So Now it's most about what is that which you will get, but all of this which I'm going to show you is something which you will have to earn. And to earn something, the first step is you have to learn about it. And before even you start learning, you have to have the interest. And I guess everyone sitting over here and your friends who have not been able to make it to the auditorium today as well, please share this message. Please share the discussion or the conversation we have had today and tell them about something which can literally change their lives. So after you successfully complete your micro-specialization from IIT Kharagpur, you get a certificate of completion. And this certificate of completion acknowledges the fact that you are a certified student of IIT Kharagpur. And this is something which you are going to carry for the rest of your life. And again, as I mentioned, this is not something which will be handed over to you or you can pay to earn it. No, this is something which you have to prove your worth, and your examination will be taken by professors from IIT. You will be evaluated by professors from IIT, and you will be eventually getting a transcript from IIT Kharagpur, which will eventually lead to the certificate of completion of the micro-specialization, along with your degree, which will be awarded by Sister Nivedita University. So when I talk about micro-specialization, it is not one course, but it is a collection of 4 to 5 courses. And this 4 to 5 courses can be of different credits. By this time, all of you are very comfortable about what credits are, right, etc., etc. So every course you complete, you get around 3 to 4 credits. You get a course completion certificate, and after you complete the bucket of 4 to 5 courses, you get the certificate of completion of micro-specialization. And IIT Kharagpur Outreach Course Network Student Identity Card, which places you differently and gives you an identity of association with the Premier Institute. Your own IIT Kharagpur Outreach Course Network email ID, which is again going to stay with you during the course duration, and an alumni ID after you successfully graduate. Along with it, an IIT Kharagpur OCN alumni status. So even today, when I carry my alumnus card with me, the only thing which I have in mind is the network of people who I am a part of. So that becomes your identity. That becomes your go-to people when you want to start your next venture, or when you want to raise your next round of capital. If you are an entrepreneur, this is the network which you'll have to tap on. So I've said a lot, but I will definitely have to say this, that this is not a chance to buy a seat at IIT. It is a chance to earn a seat at IIT, which many of you did not even care about, because you have adopted, you have selected economics, finance, commerce, right? So you definitely did not have cared much about clearing JEE Mains or JEE Advanced. But even then, this is something which you can still opt for and can earn it. First criteria was being a student of Sister Nivedita University, which you already are. And if you have performed well or moderately in your first semesters or your first year, then we look forward to see you as a part of our cohort at IIT KGP. So now we are going to talk about like the specific micro-specializations which our Professor Manoj Kumar Mandal will talk about, like global business and economic strategy is the name of the micro-specialization. And these are the courses which will be a part of this micro-specializations, starting with principles of economics in your semester 1, market structure and pricing strategies, foundations of global business, shifting dynamics of globalization, sustainable global business practices. So as you can understand, like your semester 1 will be basically, say for example, if you're in year 2, so you're ongoing your 3rd semester. So in your 3rd semester, you will maybe, based on the availability of the courses, you can take the first 2 courses or even like only the first course in your first semester, then semester 2 you take two more, and like this over say a period of 4 to 5 semester, you will have to aim to kind of complete this entire micro specialization. This micro specializations will be 14 credits. So as sir also mentioned, along with the credits which you earned from your university in your academic bank of credits, this 14 credits which you will be completing from IIT Kharagpur will be credited to your academic bank of credits, and these credits can be and will be utilized for you to obtain your final degree certificate. Similar examples from financial mathematics, financial modeling and risk analysis, and yeah, like this is the last Mentimeter quiz where we want to know, like, where do you want to see yourself in the next 5 years? Okay, yeah. I'm very excited. Let's see. Okay, still at 0%. Still at 0%. Aren't you folks responding, or is it's a glitch? You've already responded? Oh, great. So let us hear from the audience themselves if this is not working. So how many of you want to, start your own ventures, the job creators? Please show of hands. Entrepreneurs? Okay, a few. Who wants a great job? Okay, most of you. Okay. So I guess we are more relevant. We are more relevant with the course which we are going to talk about. So this course is going to help you be more employable. And let's go present. Okay, so we have it. It's okay. Yeah. Okay, so let's quickly go to the results and then. Okay. Okay, so 37% wants a top job. I guess, sir, they are our relevant folks who will get immensely helped by the micro specializations which we have to offer to you. Running my own venture, I will come to this before I introduce Professor Mondal, and honestly not sure yet. Like, not to worry, I guess you have enough time. And yeah, so coming to 25% of the people who want to run their own venture. So a short story. So we have among us Professor Manoj Kumar Mandal, who is the Associate Dean of Innovation and Entrepreneurship at IIT Kharagpur. Also, sir is a professor at Rajendra Mishra School of Engineering and Entrepreneurship, who is like the main lead and coordinator of the micro specialization called Innovation and Entrepreneurship at IIT Kharagpur. So when I was a student back in 2016, I did opt for this micro-specialization, and sir taught me foundations of entrepreneurship. And today I am with sir, where we are running our own venture, and sir gets to witness it. So sir, I think thank you so much for being a mentor from day one, and it's a privilege to have you among us when we are doing this session with our upcoming students. Please come onto the stage.
Can I have a mic?
Yeah.
I don't like to stand behind the. Thank you, Professor Basu, for giving us this opportunity. Thank you, Abhijit, for nice introduction and kind words. Welcome to this session. As Abhijit said, I am actually teaching Entrepreneurship Essentials, a subject that is taken by about 500 students in a year. In one semester, I offer that to about 250 students. I receive about 1,000 requests, but then in one hall, we cannot accommodate more than 250 students. So I accommodate only 250 per semester. So it's about 500 students a year. There is one part. Then I offer the subject in NPTEL. I think you are all familiar. Under swayam.gov.in, I offer that subject once in a year. This year, there were 12,000 students in the online course. So it's quite popular, meaning little bit bragging about that. But then subject is popular, meaning students like to learn. At least that part is true. Now, talking about several open-ended issues that Abhijit just brought to the notice. One is that jobs are reducing. Jobs are reducing is a temporary thing. We have seen that many, many times. When automatic loom was introduced in France, way back in 1800 and something, 1876 or so, there were enormous amount of resistance. People used to think that we are going to lose our job because of automation. And then gradually it was absorbed as if there was no issue at all. In fact, the market expanded so much that within a very short time, people realized that without this automatic loom, perhaps we will not have enough clothes to wear. Then we have seen very recently when banks were automatic with banks were computerizing, there were many, many strikes. You might remember it happened during your time only because bank employees were striking jobs because they thought we are going to lose our jobs. Now just after about 10 years, look, you just enter into any bank, and if you realize the number of transactions that we are doing online, if that has to be done inside a bank branch, perhaps you need hundreds of people, not just few number of people who are sitting at the counter. There will be kilometers long queues to get a withdrawal of maybe 500 rupees or 5,000. So when things happens, we have a short sight, and that is why we get scared. We have to look behind to understand how things actually panned out in the past, and definitely there is something moving forward. Nature will take care. In a nutshell, in single words, nature is going to take care. Because suppose in this room there are 100 guys. Suppose we don't have jobs, including myself. Then who are going to buy things from companies who are using AI to do everything? Unless there are customers, you can do wonderful things, but then if there is no buyer, even AI-driven models is going to be useless. So there is always nature to open channels for opportunities, and this is going to be open. It might be different, and we have to be prepared to usurp that opportunity. For example, US has 1.5 million registered startups. India has just 3 lakh startups. Our number of people are much more. They have 30 crore people. We have 140 crore plus population. So obviously we are going to serve more increasing number of middle class people and even poor people, they are going to be customers. Even Hindustan Lever comes up with, schemes or marketing strategies to target the bottom of the pyramid. That is how the sachet concept came in. So if we match the number of startups that are happening in US, we have 5 times the number of startups that we have to create. The data from China I don't have readily, but then numbers will be much greater compared to US. That's my feeling. Of course, data in the marketplace may not be the correct data. So thing is that, another data is that it says that 64% of all the American people start a venture at some point in their life. Some start it after retirement, some start immediately after graduation, some start even before graduation. Like the founder of Dell, he just quit study and started company. Even I think Sergey Brin and Larry Page, I don't know whether they completed PhD or not, but they started Google. I think they completed perhaps. Whatever that is. The fact is that the opportunity canvas is enormous before us. We are just a growing economy, and I just wanted to carry one James Clip box to demonstrate what I am going to tell you. I bought a black paper clip the other day. I found at the bottom, made in China. A clip is made in China that we are consuming. That tells you the scale of opportunity lies before you. Somebody from us definitely can manufacture a paper clip that we are buying from China. That shows that opportunity is enormous. Everywhere there is an opportunity. But then we have data in front of us that is actually highly kind of fearsome. Like there are saying, and you will see that in newspaper and different blogs and magazines, that 99% of the startups fail. That's the data that says about 10% of startups, they reach to first level of funding, and out of 10 such companies, 1 becomes successful. But the fact is that majority of these failed startups, or maybe I'll just give you data, correct data. 43% of the startups fail because they make something that nobody wants to buy. I'll repeat that sentence. They make something that nobody wants to buy. Surprisingly. Why should anybody make something that nobody is interested to buy? Can't you identify that before making? Whether people are actually crying for that product? It's absolutely possible. But then most of us, even at IIT Kharagpur, I mentor many teams. I mentored Anish Reddy of Capillary. They went public in November last year. And majority of the students that I mentor, they will come with an idea saying that, sir, I have an idea, can you mentor us? The first question I ask, who are your customers? Sir, this is wonderful technology. Once I am in the marketplace, there will be no dearth of customers. Because I know I am a customer. I myself is a customer. I know the technology. Why should I bother about this? I'll just come with the latest cutting edge technology and people are going to buy. Fact is that 43% of these people will come to the market after spending a year and lot of resources only to realize that nobody wants their product. This has to be done at the beginning, even before spending a single rupee. It's possible. That is what you learn in entrepreneurship. So if somebody asks you a question as to whether entrepreneurship can be learned, answer is yes or no. I could have made this class interactive, but then I have limited time, so I'll not get into that. I'm sure 50% of you will say that entrepreneurship cannot be learned. It's innate. You're born with that quality, like leadership, like extrovertism or something. And if you're not extrovert, you're not going to be able to talk to somebody, to sell, to attract investment, things like that. But there is a book by the name 021. 021. I think it's written by Peter Thiel, perhaps. Peter Thiel. He demonstrated with data that out of 11 unicorn that he studied, the founders of 10 unicorns were all introvert. And then he analyzed as to why this happened, how this happened, and then he concluded that introverts are less outward. That means they are highly creative inward because they are always thinking. They become more creative, more innovative. They have power of lateral thinking and whatnot. And they become successful entrepreneurs. I'm not saying that introverts are always successful entrepreneurs. But then the myths that we harbor in our minds since our birth, or maybe our teachers, our parents tell us that, there is no family history of business. How do you think that you are going to be successful? All these are myths. You go to Silicon Valley. Majority of the startups are started by Indians. And if they would be here, they would never start a startup. Why? Because the culture is there. They see other people starting businesses and becoming successful. So they are getting inspired by the atmosphere, by the environment, by success stories and whatnot, which proves that you're not born with that train, that talent, or that whatever. Your gene is not disposed that way. It is your mind, your willingness, your curiosity, and something that we'll be teaching, design thinking. Have you heard about design thinking? You raise your hand, whosoever have heard about design thinking. One. Okay, so that's not a very right figure. In this age, we should all learn design thinking. So I'll take slight kind of detour to say what is design thinking. That is a subject of our course, entrepreneurship and innovation. Because innovation actually now is highly connected to design thinking. I teach the subject design thinking at IIT Kharagpur. Just recently, we had a course with Tufts Gordon Institute at our Rajarhat Research Park, just on the other side of the street. There are 41 senior executives who took this course. Now, design thinking is like this. Let me just give you within maybe 2-3 minutes. Let me walk you through what is design thinking. If you are thinking of building anything in the world, if you know this process, chance of success is very high. Design thinking tells you that there are 5 steps. Let me just go theoretically first, and then I'll come back, give you some example. It has 5 steps. The first step is empathy. Have you heard about this word empathy before? How many? Many of you. Okay, good. Second is define. Third is ideate. Come up with ideas. Fourth is build. Fifth is test. So it says that if you are building something, first is empathize with the people. Second is come up with ideas. Third is you define the problem is the second one. Third is come up with ideas. Fourth is build a prototype. Fifth is test. Suppose I'm asking all of you. Suppose tomorrow you have a friend's birthday whom you do not know much. You just contacted through some means or the other. You think is a good friend. Now tomorrow is the birthday. Now suppose all of you with different friends. Now you think that I'll give a nice t-shirt to my friend on his or her birthday. You go to shop. Now, when we buy something, we think we buy the best possible thing. And suppose you like some color of the t-shirt. Wow, this is looking so nice. You fell in love with the color and you bought it and you presented. How many of you think that your friend is going to love it the way you loved it? Raise your hand if you can. Why don't you think so? Why didn't you raise your hand? Can somebody just tell something? Yeah, please.
Sir, because to me it is important, like I like red color, I like black color. So the t-shirt has a black print on a red color, so I like it. And to my friend, he is dearest to me, so I gave it to him. But he may not like black, he may not like red, he may like something else. That's the reason behind it.
Yeah, very true, very true. Thank you so much. You can give a big hand to him. Wonderful. That is precisely what is empathy. Empathy means you know a person's aspiration, their pain, what is making them suffer. Suppose somebody had an accident, broke his knee or hand. He calls you or he meets you on the way, and then what is your reaction? You say, sorry to know about this. This sorry to know about this is sympathy. You are showing sympathy to make him or her feel that somebody feels for me. Suppose you had an accident before and you have gone through this pain, not just pain, the harassment in the hospital and all of that. Now you will really feel that, yes, this is really, really painful, and you will say, I understand what you are going through. Of course, you don't have to really break your hand to understand somebody's pain. That is not really the definition of empathy. Definition of empathy is to know the other person's pain as much as possible. Sharat Chandra Chattopadhyay, when he wrote Devdas, the original was not Devdas, there is a saying, I don't know whether it's true or wrong. He lived in the what is that? What is the right word? Brothel, what do you call? Red light area, yeah. He went there and lived there for 6 months. 6 long months. People are criticizing, people are saying bad about him. But then, that is how he could create, because he could see them suffering, see them aspiring. So everything that he saw with his eyes day in and day out, he could translate that into a novel, and that is why it became a masterpiece. That is what is empathy. So if you are looking for a problem to be solved, you are in the laboratory, you are in your classroom or in your drawing room, you are thinking that I'll build a product, and you are kind of started designing because maybe you have had a design course. But then unless you define their pain well, you won't be able to come up with a solution like the t-shirt. You will build something that you like. You may not be able to build something that they like. In fact, this 43% of the people who are failing, they are trying to build something of their liking. I can give you hundreds of examples, but then for the interest of time, I'm not getting into that. I'll just give one example. There was a company called Iridium. It was founded by Motorola founders, 5 billionaires. They're all billionaires, successful businessmen. They thought, we are successful businessmen. Who knows business better than us? They launched 66 satellites back in 1988. 66 satellites, hoping that they wanted to give communication from anywhere to anywhere. But then when they launched the company, investing $6 billion, which is like 60,000 crore rupees. 60,000 crore rupees. They launched the product, then they realized that this is not the product that people are buying. After 8 months, they sold the company for 245 crore rupees. 60,000 crore rupees and 250 crore rupees. That is because they did not ask the customers whether they are going to buy the product. One single call was costing $2,000. They were thinking that nobody will bother about money because it is communication from anywhere to anywhere. Cell phone was not there. You have to remember that. Anyway, I have squeezed or condensed the story to 1 minute, but it should be almost like a half an hour story. So people commit mistake. If you think that I'm smart enough, I'm not going to commit the same mistakes. Everybody is even. Let us not get into more example, it will kill more time. So we need to, first of all, we need to embed in our head that before I even think of building something, I have to empathize with the people. I'll give another example for the how much time I have? Yeah, if you don't enjoy, just raise your hand. I'll stop there. There was a hospital, newly built hospital in Nepal, and it was on the mountain top. Everybody thought that this is wonderful place with scenic beauty. Patient will come in, they will get cured automatically and go out. But then every newborn baby was dying there. Every newborn baby was dying. They consulted doctors. They came and prescribed medicine for moms and the newborn and whatnot. They consulted designer. They designed the rooftop with picture of God and goddesses so that mom will be thinking of God and newborn will remain blah blah. Then came other designers who designed costly incubators where baby will be kept like it will simulate mom's womb and then baby will remain healthy whatnot. Nothing happened. Nothing. They even brought sadhus that you come and do some tuktak and there is a ghost inside, so things will be okay, but nothing happened. Then came a design thinking team from Stanford, because they thought if there is a problem that nobody has a solution, it is our team who should solve this. This is a wonderful challenge that they thought will come. They also came. There was no clue, because for design thinking, the first part is empathy. Empathy. And empathy means you try to understand the pain of the person for whom you are trying to invent a solution. Then most of the members said, whom to empathize with. Mom has no problem, no health issue. Psychologically, she is perfect, everything. So how to know what pain the baby is going through? So there was no clue, so they were about to abandon. That is when one of the members said, guys, I will become a newborn. I will become a newborn and you empathize with me. So I'll be able to tell you what my pain is. Everybody was kind of at a loss as to whether this man is in his sense or gone mad. But then when another newborn was expected, this man removed all his clothes, lied down on a stretcher, and then he told, wherever you take the baby, immediately after delivery, take me with that baby and I will be there, and then I will be able to give you the feedback as to why the baby is, what about the pain of the baby is. And then immediately after the delivery, they were taking the baby and the man to the side room where the incubators are. But then there was a corridor. The moment they entered into the corridor, the man jumped out of the stretcher and said, take the baby inside. They brought the baby inside. The fact is that the corridor had negative temperature, almost like sub-zero. So the baby was not able to withstand that momentary heat shock, thermal shock. And that is why babies were dying. This man who did not have sufficient clothes wear, so he could realize that this is the pain the baby is going through. Now, with this information, it should not be difficult for anybody to come up with a solution. Get this point? So they came up with something called Embrace, and that Embrace cost about 250 rupees. It's like almost like a pillowcase made of wool, and you just slip the baby inside, and there is no issue at all. Baby, there was no fatality moving forward. So once you empathize, you can define the problem. So defining the problem is most important to find a solution. Once you define the problem, solution many a times will come walking. You don't have to strive to find a solution. So empathize is so very important for building any product. Get this point, number one. Number two, once you empathize, defining the real problem becomes easy. If you cannot define, you will be roaming around whether we should put Bhagavan picture somewhere or give medicine to mom or something. That is nowhere close to the problem. We are kind of wearing my glasses. I am looking for glass everywhere, something like that. So defining will help us find a solution. That is number three. That is, first is empathize, then define. Third is ideate. Now is the time to ideate. Many of you are leaving the auditorium, so I'll not prolong that discussion. So ideate is the most important part again. Just like empathize, how to ideate is another topic that will require at least half an hour to discuss, to give examples and show. That is most precious part of my lecture. But then now, since I have already consumed half an hour out of my 20 allocated minutes, so I'm not getting into that. After ideate, you have to prototype. Without prototyping, if you think that just on the piece of paper you draw an image and you think that you have a solution, that is not going to help. That is not going to work in real life. Unless you build a prototype, I could give examples. Unless you build prototype, you will not realize the challenges, the conflicts, etc. are there in between. So you have to prototype. Once you prototype, you show it to your friend, show it to outsider, show it to your target audience. They are going to tell you why they don't like it. And then you come back, you modify accordingly. And then eventually there will be a time when they will say, wow, I like it. And then they will be ready to pay money to buy this. You start a company now, you are not among those 43% of people. Get this. So success rate means you won't fall into that 99% anymore. Success will be almost like guaranteed. Okay, I'll bypass this. These are the subjects that we are going to offer for micro. There are many subjects. Actually, we offer about 20 subjects from our school, but these are the subjects which we are going to offer for micro. Foundations of Entrepreneurship is my subject, and Product Development, Professor Bashop Chakrabarti. Design Thinking Lab, it will be almost like a lab. We cannot offer a lab remotely or virtually, but then we are going to give you assignment and you're going to build a product like empathize and all those stages. So you'll have almost like a hands-on. Maybe sometimes we'll come, maybe twice, thrice, or I don't know what the program is. We're going to come here and then we will have hands-on session on that. Financing New Venture, Professor Titash Bhattacharya will be teaching. Marketing and Market Research, Professor Mamuni Banerjee will be teaching. Now, financing new venture, everything is designed with the right perspective. For example, financing new venture. I said 43% of the startups fail because they make something that nobody wants to buy. About 38% of the startups fail because they run out of money. Why they run out of money? Because they don't do cash flow analysis. If you do not do cash flow analysis, you will not realize whether you are going to run out of cash just tomorrow. You will not know. But you need to know whether you are going to run out of money or cash well in advance to arrange money. Arranging money is not a big deal, but then you have to know when you need the money. And in the financing new venture component, we will not only discuss about funding, how to fund, how to structure, what is equity dilution and everything, all meaning what are the kind of due diligence that investors do, and structure of the deal, meaning whether it is preference capital or equity capital or whatever. All of that will be covered under financing new venture, along with a good discussion on financial statements like profit loss account, balance sheet, and cash flow statements. So with that, you will have a fair idea. Meaning, my suggestion is that if anybody is starting something, they need to understand finances quite well in advance. Otherwise, it becomes very difficult. Before that, actually, I should have started my lecture with this. Entrepreneurship should not necessarily be learned to start a company. You appear for an interview and they will ask you questions which are entrepreneurial qualities. Once you go through the course, you actually become entrepreneurial. To get a job in today's world, one needs to know what is the challenges that my other counterpart is facing, and they want solution through you. They want to build the solution. So if you are entrepreneurial, you will be able to answer their question because you know their challenges, their aspiration, what not. You will be able to appreciate. Most importantly, two things. One is, if you start something and if you fail, you are the most attractive employee for any company, because you have gone through that challenges, you have taken the risk, you have demonstrated that you have the guts to do something new and take all the challenges. So you become more attractive employee than anybody else. Number one. Number two, I thought I'll forget the number one. Yeah, this is like this. You should just inculcate this habit. I used to kind of mentor some of the other engineering colleges students, and my only advice to them was, that time software jobs were aplenty and they used to appear for Infosys, TCS and all that. These companies ask one question: have you ever built anything? And if you say that I did, entire questions, the other remaining questions will be about that product. Suppose you have built something for a pawn shop or for some grocery store or something. Build something, give it to them, or you did not give it to them, you just built. If you build something, you have walked the distance. If I tell you Research Park is on the other side of the street, you will be still asking people how to go. But if you have gone once, you can give directions to anybody. So if you build something and if there are questions in the domain, you will be able to very easily answer, and chance of getting a job is very, very great. Much greater than if you have not done anything, but if you have all the bookish knowledge. I have seen from my experience that those who have built something, they get jobs in the first place. Okay. So these are the subjects that we are offering. Now, I have already covered this, so I'll not repeat that, except, design thinking and entrepreneurial journey, beginning journey, meaning starting a company from idea to start, are the same as design thinking as well as, starting a venture. So first thing is, you have to empathize with the people with the pain, and then you will be defining the pain, build a product, and convert idea into an opportunity. Then you will take it to the market to ask question whether they like it or not, before you put up a plant, a factory or anything. Even if you are building some AI driven thing, if you are not talking to people and not trying to understand their challenges, you will be building something for robots, not for human being. I could give examples, but now I'm not wasting time for that. So once you build something, some minimum viable prototype or product, you take it to the real users. They are going to tell you why they don't like it. Come back, refine that, again go to them. Once everybody says that, yes, now the product is right, then go to market. And there is no reason why they will not buy, because you have already validated. This is known as validated learning. Build, measure, learn. For this process, there is a system called Agile method, Lean method. All of that will be covered. I think that should be good enough. If there are questions, I'll be more than happy to answer.
গুড ইভিনিং স্যার।
Very good evening.
স্যার বলছিলাম, হয়তো আমি কোনো কোম্পানিতে ইন্টার্নশিপের জন্য গেছি, আর আপনি বললেন যে যদি আমি কিছু বানিয়ে থাকি, ওনারা যদি কোশ্চেন করেন, সেটা যদি ওই কোম্পানির রিলেটেড না হয়, হয়তো আমি কিছু ট্রাই করেছি কোনো সময়, কিন্তু ওইটা হয়তো ওই কোম্পানির রিলেটেড নয়। সাপোজ আমার আয়ুর্বেদিক হার্বসের প্রতি ইন্টারেস্ট অনেক আছে, বাট আমি হয়তো কোনো টেক কোম্পানিতে ইন্টার্নশিপের জন্য যাচ্ছি বা কোনো ফাইন্যান্স কোম্পানিতে, তো সেই হিসেবে তো হয়তো আমার যেটা ইন্টারেস্টেড এরিয়া, তো ওনারা হয়তো ইন্টারেস্টেড থাকবেন না, তো সেই ক্ষেত্রে।
ঠিক, I got your question. It's a very relevant question. Thank you for asking that. এরকম গুগল যখন আইআইটি ক্যাম্পাসে আসে, they don't look for 10 pointers. They don't look for 10 pointers. They look for people who have the capability to think out of the box. People who have the capability and mental disposition. Like, you have the capability, but you don't think about it. You don't build anything. So they don't look for that. They look for 8 pointers, something like, say, 70%, 75% marks, At the same time, whether they have done something. It need not be related to that. Suppose you have done something in, say, any other area which is not even remotely connected. That demonstrates that you have the willingness to think, you're not lazy mentally, you have the creative side of the brain, number one. Number two, you have the energy to think about it, go through it, and then try. So you have all the motivation and willingness and the energy to do that. That itself shows that if you are hired, you will take very little time to understand their technology, and then you will come up with relevant things that are relevant to them. So that is absolutely okay, even if you do something in unrelated things. Any other question? Okay. Thank you. Thank you for patient hearing. Thank you.
I'll just add something. Now, for those of you who are in math, I mean, there may be a misconception among you that since you are in management department, you can only opt for this business economics and finance courses. Now, here you can see that there are 4 micro-specializations, but in total there are 15 or more micro-specializations. You can take any one of total 28. Right now 15 are being shown there. For example, foundations of AI and all those. If someone of you might be a commerce student but want to know that, all those are open to all of you. Okay, so your choice can be out of any one of these, but we thought that given your background, this part will be most relevant for you. But as you know today, AI is everywhere. So those of you who want to take these micro-specializations like generative AI and foundations of AI, I won't encourage you to take algorithms for management students here, but you can take any one of those. Okay, but what Professor Mondal was dwelling on, he was talking on entrepreneurship, the last bullet of the second column, entrepreneurship and venture creation. But there are other choices also that now he will explain. Now.
Yep. Thank you so much, Professor Basu. So as we said, like for business, economics, and finance, there are total 4 micro-specializations. Sir did speak on entrepreneurship and venture creation in the AI era. And we'll also give you a short glimpse of how the global business and economic strategy, financial mathematics, and financial modeling and risk analysis looks like. And post that, we will be giving you a QR code which will lead you to all the 15 micro-specializations which are being offered by IIT Kharagpur, including yesterday's session on AI, data science, and computing tracks. So again, like in a nutshell, these are the 15 micro-specializations which will be offered to you. Each of the ones which you see in the white text are the names of micro-specializations. So each one of them will have 4 to 5 courses inside each of them. And the ones in the golden font are the buckets. So today we are mainly focusing on business, economics, and finance. But as Professor Basu said, that you do not have any restriction. If you are a management student and if you want to study generative and agentic AI or foundations of generative AI, you are free to do so. And similarly, the others as well. So just a quick glimpse of how global business and economic strategy looks like. So this will be offered by the Department of Humanities and Social Sciences at IIT Kharagpur, starting with principles of economics, market structure and pricing strategies, foundations of global business, shifting dynamics of globalization, sustainable global business practices. And what is the most important thing about it is the learning outcome. This entire micro-specialization will equip you with relevant skill sets, which will help you to interpret global business dynamics. how the energy transitions and geopolitical risk and design strategies grounded in the ethics and sustainability domain. So the thing is, like, today we all see news as a spectator, but once you do this micro specialization, every news which comes to you will be will be perceived in a very different way, because you will know exactly how the market structure is, like, is, and why is it so, and what are the different pricing strategies. Say, for example, we have all seen the trend of the gold prices rising so high in the last year, right? So what is the economic implication of it, whether it is going to come down? We are not talking about that astrologer who can predict things, but someone who can, help you with predictable and models which will help you to back whatever you say and whatever you feel like with data and with theorems. Then we have financial mathematics. We have all heard of, like, finance and maths separately, but when we are talking about financial mathematics, it is mostly targeting towards model uncertainty and solve real life finance problems with optimization, probability, stochastic processes, and time series methods. So again, each and every word which I just mentioned, like in a rush, are each and every subject which will be taught to you in depth. And again, it's a course being offered by Department of Maths, and we will be starting with prop stats, probability and statistics, inference with R. R is basically the tool which you'll be using to learn prop stats and, like, apply your prop stat models onto real life problems and how to do it. Optimization methods in finance, you will be learning a lot about how equities, derivatives, stocks are performing, why, and what are the parameters or driving factors which influence the numbers which we all see on our, say, Grow app or Zerodha app. So you will not only be a consumer, but you will know, your analytical brain will be trained enough to understand why the numbers are moving in which direction they are. Then regression and time series, helping you, like, right from linear programming to multilinear programming. And like, time series is something which continuous or non-continuous will help you to learn forecasting, how the prediction models happen. Like, say, for example, FIFA World Cup is going on, and there are so many predictions, so many models trained in very different ways, talking about, okay, this model thinks that France will win, and France lost yesterday, so that model has failed. For example, you will not be a consumer of this information anymore. You will know what is happening and why is it happening. Yeah. And then stochastic calculus in finance, followed by another very interesting micro-specializations put together by Department of Humanities and Social Sciences. And this micro-specialization should be, mostly very relevant for people who are aspiring for CFA or FRM exams, those who are aspiring for investment banking, I would say, opportunity after you graduate, or are, like, aspiring to be an IB or stay relevant in the finance domain. For you, this is a very relevant micro specialization. Even like companies like Deutsche Bank or say a JP Morgan, a Morgan Stanley, or a Goldman Sachs exactly looks for this skill set before they, like, hire you. So again, like, you will be speaking the language of markets, valuation, derivatives, risk. So the person who you will be conversing with, there has to be a certain comfort associated with the languages and the lingo which they use and the terminologies which they use. So how well prepared you are will be determined by what course you are opting for, which micro specialization you are choosing and completing, right? And sir has already completed entrepreneurship and innovation. and venture creation in the AI era. So that being said, more or less for today's session's focus, we have covered all the micro specializations. Now, the most important thing for you is to click a picture of this QR code, send it across to your friends who might had to leave today because they had certain other engagements. But click a picture, share this with your friends, scan this QR code, register your interest, so we will also know like which micro specialization has how much interest from the students community, and accordingly we'll communicate with your academic authorities on when are we planning to roll out these courses. And we start mostly around 10th of August. We are planning to start our micro specializations from IIT Kharagpur, and you will have a global audience attending classes which will be hosted live at IIT KGP and will be broadcasted to you through the learning management system platform, which again will be made available to you from your academic institute. With that being said, I would like to invite Professor Basu to please come on stage and say the closing words. Over to you, sir.
Okay, instead of the closing words, I can see that the audience has thinned significantly. But that's painful. But we are here to take some practical questions. What are the questions you have got in mind? Yes, please. Microphone একটা দাও.
Can we take more than 2 courses?
Yes, you can.
So, it will be an online mode.
Yes. These are the natural questions. It will be online mode. It will be on scheduled hours, like maybe 3 to 5, something like that. Another point, in the earlier slide, it was shown that it is in 3 semesters. 3 semesters means what? Even, odd, even, like that. All right? You can extend it to 4 semesters or 5 semesters also. Because suppose there are 5 courses, you can plan it in a way that since that's being offered, you can take it in 5 semesters to ease out your load. So others are leaving. So have they given any this thing, your options? I don't know. Any other question? I'm sure the persons who are leaving are not interested, because the first question that they should have asked is, what is the fees? Do you have to pay anything or not? Since none of them asked that, that means they are not interested.
Sir,
Alright.
actually, I stood up for that only. I was just going to ask the same question you just suggested. What's the fees for the courses?
Who is asking? You are asking.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So the fees for one micro-specialization is 45,000. Now, out of which SNU has decided that SNU will pay for the 50% of that course. That means 22,500 will be paid by the university, and 22,500 will have to be paid by the student. Now, if the student can, in the result, they have not talked about evaluation at all today. These will be, actually, the IIT team should have told that. The evaluation will be online also in a continuous assessment mode. All right? There will be, I think, 40% in continuous assessment, 20% in a midterm evaluation, which will also be online, usually MCQ, and 30% in the end term. All right? Now, the grades will be EX, A, B, C, D. Now, if the student is regular, it is expected that he will be able to score, he or she will be able to score between EX and A. If you score between these top two tiers, then the remaining money SNU will refund to you. That means, say 45,000. When you are starting this course, 22,500 you have to pay. And at the end of the course, if you can score A or EX, then SNU will pay back you 22,500. That means you are doing this course for free. Okay? Is it clear?
Yes.
All right. Any other question? So,
Uh, I hope most of you have already scanned and shown, like registered your interest. If you have not, or if you want to do it at your own comfort, please click a picture of this QR code. And also through your academic authorities, we'll be sending the communications from IIT to all of you, that what are the available micro-specializations and what will be the timeline by which you will have to apply.
so for all the management and commerce and economics students, your professors, one professor is here, other two are also here. So you can directly correspond to your professors to show your interest. Do it fast, because there will be a Google form circulated in which if you give your option here, well and good. Otherwise, you can give it in your Google form as well. And accordingly, we'll take it up from there. All right? And you have to do it within a week. You have to make up your mind and do it within a week, so that we come to know how many of you are interested and in which micro-specialization out of all the 15 that were shown. Now, another point that I again thought that should be a natural question is that in most cases, these courses will be aligned with the elective courses that you have in your curriculum. That means, by doing this course, you are serving two purposes. One is satisfying that your major credit criteria, as well as you are satisfying the requirement for this micro-specialization. Okay? Now, whether it will be possible for all the courses or not, once we see your interest, we'll work on that and see how much we can make it possible, and that will be to your advantage. Otherwise, for the other cases, you will have to take that as an extra course. So, each department, commerce, economics, and management, can take it up with your dean or the professors and can ultimately come back to me, and we can sit together and decide. Okay?
Sir, I have a question about the fees. Will the fees be distributed evenly in all the semesters, or do we have to pay it all at once?
Yeah, it will be your choice. Say, we can work it out. So if you do it in 4 semesters, for example, you give it in 1/4, 4 times you give, right? That depends on your, whatever is convenient to you.
And sir, about the registration, we have to register by this QR code only if we are interested.
No, I think, This is expression of interest, whether you want to do it or not. Then there will be a registration process. Just as you register for your course at SNU, similarly you will register for IIT OCN.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
Sir.
there will be a separate registration process. That they will tell you online. Once you get that email, then you can correspond with them.
Okay, thank you everyone, and to the audience who are still with us, a large round of applause for all of you for staying back till the end. And yeah, thank you SNU, thank you sir, and everyone who has welcomed us and gave us this opportunity to present. Thank you.